I went out for a ride yesterday and had a lot of time to think. I find that being on the motorcycle in the middle of nowhere is a great time to just sort of process some thoughts and get caught up with yourself. And it came to a realization. I've got way too much shit. Not just physical objects, but complications, worries, stuff like that. It got me thinking about paring stuff down and going a little bit more minimalistic. The older I'm getting, the more of a curmudgeon I'm becoming when it comes to motorcycle electronics and gadgets. If you saw one of my recent videos, you saw a review I did about the Beeline Moto 2. Now, this gadget is probably one of the most minimalistic navigation devices you could possibly buy. But even that was just too much for what I was trying to do. What I really wanted was something that was unobtrusive, calm, and not begging for my attention. A lot of people suggested I just get paper maps, and that's probably where I'll end up if I'm being honest. But all of it got me thinking and into a mindset of just minimizing not just what I'm doing on the motorcycle, but really what I'm doing with my whole life. If I look at just my motorcycle stuff, I've got way too many helmets, I've got way too many jackets, I've got 3 or 4 different nav devices, CarPlay things, whatever. Some of them that people sent me to review or whatever. The point is, having too much stuff leads to what some folks might call decision paralysis. It also leads to not taking care of your stuff, because when you have too many things, you don't focus on one thing, you don't focus on 2 things. You've got friggin' 9 different helmets to take care of. You've got 16 motorcycles, all of them need oil changes and new tires and whatever. It's just too much. And I'm coming to the point in my life where I'm trying to understand, okay, what's too much? What's too little, if there is such a thing? And what is it that truly improves my quality of life? And how do I focus on those things? So I'm out for a ride yesterday. I'm thinking about my cross-country trip. And I was on my Scrambler instead of my Tiger when I was out riding. And I said to myself, man, here it comes again. You're so in love with this motorcycle that you're going to end up taking it across the country and leaving the motorcycle you bought specifically for that journey sitting in the garage. And it kind of bummed me out. I started thinking, wow, this is like not only one of those times where your privilege gets in the way of, I don't know, reality, but also having to think through this constantly, having to mull this over in my head day after day. Which bike am I going to take on this trip? It's causing anxiety that doesn't need to be there. It's a ridiculous reason to have anxiety in the first place. It's not really causing anxiety per se, but it's complicating the trip. And so I started thinking, if I took my Scrambler, follow me on this one, and I mated it with my Tiger 900, what would I get? And the answer was like, bing! I'd get the Scrambler 1200 XE, the big one, the tall one, the powerful one, the one I rode last year and felt, wow, this thing is amazing, but it's a little bit too much bike for me. But that was a year ago, and I've ridden 20,000 miles since then, and so I'd be perfectly fine on that bike. So I sent a note to my local Triumph dealer, and I said, hey, I've got this stupid idea in my head. I'm just kind of feeling it out, but what's the feasibility of me trading both of my bikes in and just getting a 1200 XE and calling it a day? And unfortunately, the reply was, yeah, we could probably do that. Which was, like, I was just hoping you'd say, no fucking way. You've gone through enough bikes this year. Just stick with what you got. But anyway, so it goes. I kind of got that idea out of my head for now, I think, but we'll come back to that in a future video. My point is, having too many choices isn't always such a fabulous thing. And so, not just physical stuff I'm trying to pare down, but I'm trying to pare down just things in my life. Before I get back to the motorcycle stuff, one of the things I'll tell you is I recently sort of kind of ditched the whole idea of calendaring and note-taking or whatever on my computer. And I went out and bought myself a traveler's notebook. If you don't know what a traveler's notebook is, it's this leather-bound stack of little mini notebooks that you carry around, and you can bullet journal, whatever the hell that is. You can make to-do lists, you can make calendars, whatever. It's really gotten me back into the whole idea of going analog with my life. It's just so satisfying to sit there and write with a fountain pen. I don't know, man. It's something. So anyway, I'm kind of going analog with that stuff, and it's really, I don't know if it's life-changing so far. It's not the first time I've done this. In fact, I've made these traveler's notebooks out of leather myself. And I finally just said, screw it, I'm going to buy one because I've always wanted to experience the actual original traveler's notebook, or it used to be called the Midori. And then they changed the company name. That's a whole different story. You're not here for that. So, going analog with that stuff. And then I started looking at specifically my Scrambler and saying, okay, no more gadgets up here. No more gadgets. I can't do it anymore. Well, I have a camera, but that's just because I'm filming. I wouldn't normally have that there. So no more gadgets up here. And so that led me to thinking, okay, well, you gotta have some gadget because you do like to listen to music and you're terrible with navigation, so you gotta have some sort of solution to navigation. And I realized, of course, my phone is perfectly fine for navigation. I don't need any other attachments, but I don't want my phone mounted at all on my handlebars. I've already ruined a phone doing that. I also just don't want the distraction. I don't want to see messages coming up. I don't want any of that garbage. And so, and this isn't a sponsored video, don't get me wrong, I'm telling you this because this is what happened. I reached out to Moscow Moto and I said, hey, I want to make this video about sort of like alternatives to strapping shit to my handlebars as far as navigation goes. I know you all have a navigator pocket thing that you put your phone in. Would you be interested in me putting that in a video if you sent me one? And they're like, oh, yeah, we'd be happy to. I was shocked. Moscow Moto is, whether or not they support my channel or whatever, my favorite company by far as motorcycle gear goes. They make some super awesome stuff. Anyway, they sent me out the Navigator phone pocket, and I think it's like $40 if you buy it from them. It's completely friggin' worth it, and it's actually, I think, the perfect solution for me. It's just a pocket. It straps onto the bag, as you can see. It's got Velcro, so you can take the whole thing off. It's got holes for your phone cord, so you can charge it. It covers it, so when it's hot out, the sun doesn't bake your phone and turn it off and all that shit. But it's also, the cover keeps it covered. And that's really cool because it's not barking for my attention. I only see it when I need it. Right? And so that means I'm not looking at it when I'm driving usually. I'm pulled over or whatever, but it's easy. I don't have to take it out of the pocket. But if I really do need to look at it, I can not only open this, but I can flip it back. This isn't an ad for this thing. I'm just talking about minimalism. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Well, it's Sunday and it's not raining for once, so there you go. Anyway, the other cool thing is I taped a little bullet list in there with my talking points for this video, which I've never done before, I don't think. Well, there was one time on my scooter. Made a whole video about that, I think. I don't know. Whatever the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, that's cool that you can, like, put a little to-do list or whatever. You can even put your turn-by-turn directions in there and, like, pretend you're, like, in a rally or something. I don't know. But it's just cool. And it's like the simplest, stupidest solution to a problem that I had. And I don't know. I'm not even saying you have to go out and buy this one if you're into the whole stripping down and just going minimalist. There's plenty of others that you could probably freaking put your phone in a Ziploc bag and tape it to your tank bag, or whatever the hell you want. I'm just saying, like, this is the idea that I'm looking for in my life. Tuck the stuff away that you don't need until you need it, and get rid of the stuff that you're never going to need. It's that simple. Anyway, all this got me thinking about my upcoming trip across the country that I've talked endlessly about. And I decided on that ride yesterday, I finally decided that I'm going to ditch the whole idea of going Route 20. I think I was doing it more for the sake of saying that I did it than to, I don't know, actually have fun and relax and enjoy the trip. And so I'm ditching it. I'm ditching the idea of going Route 20, and I'm just going to go. I'm going to plan a little, but I'm not going to plan down to the minute. I'm not going to plan stop by stop and city by city. I'm not going to stay on Route 20 at all. I might not even go on Route 20. I'm going to just hightail it to Cape Cod from Portland, Oregon, and have a reunion with my high school best friends. And then I'm going to meander my way back to Portland, and I'm going to do it in the way that I want to. I'm not going to be restricted to a route. I'm not going to be time restricted, although of course I am. I mean, I have to get home at some point. But I'm not going to say I need to be home in 8 days and rush. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to see some stuff. Hopefully going to meet some of you along the way. I'll talk about that in a future video. I'm going to ask you all to help me day by day plan where I'm going to go next, which I think will be kind of fun. Because I don't, as much as I want to do the trip by myself, it would be nice to have folks come along virtually for the ride. So that's the big plan. But it all comes down to this whole mindset of just not overcomplicating my life with plans and stuff. I've already got my yard sale planned for May something, where I'm going to just sell just about everything that I don't need and really pare it down and focus on the stuff that I actually do need to maintain and improve my quality of life. That stuff is probably going to be, well, my motorcycle stuff to a certain extent, although I do need to pare that shit down. It's just too much. I've got 17 other hobbies, and I'm going to try to whittle that down to 2. I really enjoy leather work, and to a certain extent I enjoy sewing, but I'm just terrible at it. And I enjoy photography. So we'll see how that goes. I'm probably going to end up ditching the sewing stuff. I don't know yet. Although it does come in handy for making motorcycle bags or whatever. And then when I'm done, I'm hoping I have half the stuff I have now. Who knows? My advice to you, from someone who's actually done this before, when I moved from Boston to Portland, my wife and I sold almost everything we owned and came to Portland with a small Toyota Tacoma filled with a dog and a couple of boxes, and then one of those small shipping crates with a couple of pieces of furniture and our books and stuff like that, whatever. But honest to God, like, we sold almost everything we owned. It was the most liberating thing I think I've ever done. So my advice to you is look at the stuff that you own and understand what is the stuff that you haven't touched in a week, a month, a year. And is it improving your quality of life, or is it holding you back? The answer is probably going to be it's holding you back. Ditch that shit. Have a yard sale. Get rid of it. Once you do that, super focus on the stuff that you really love. If your motorcycle is one of those things that you truly love, then it's time to go out and sit in the garage and lube its chain with some music going and a beverage of your choice, and just enjoy it. Enjoy the process of cleaning it, maintaining it. Last night I went into my garage. I bought this kerosene heater type thing. I flicked it on. I closed the garage door. It's safer inside. Don't worry about it. Put on some music, and I just slowly and methodically cleaned the chains on both of my motorcycles. And it was almost as therapeutic as riding. It was pretty damn sweet. So, taking care of your stuff, taking care of the stuff that you really love, it pays off in the end. It's both relaxing and rewarding, and it keeps your shit nice. And when it comes to acquiring new things, as often happens, at least for me, I'm going to focus on buying the best quality thing I can buy instead of having 17 shitty quality things. So, helmets, for example. I do own, I don't know, 6 or 7 helmets. I got them in different ways. Some of them were given to me or whatever. It's not a huge financial investment. This is my most expensive helmet, and I love this helmet. This is a Shoei RF 1400 or something that was like $600. But it's the safest, quietest, nicest helmet I own, and it's so beat up I'm probably going to have to replace it soon. Regardless, when it comes time to buy a new helmet, I'm not going to buy a cheapie. I'm not going to buy it based on anything other than its quality. I'm going to spend the money. I'm going to get a nice helmet. I'm going to have it for years, and I'm not going to want another one. At least that's the plan. Same with jackets and pants and stuff. I'm hoping to just ditch everything that I don't really use, keep the stuff like this jacket that I absolutely love, and the next time I need a jacket, it's going to be something that I'm going to have for years instead of a year or whatever. Focus on buying the most quality thing that you can afford. And then, they say, like, what is it? Buy once, cry once, or some stupid crap like that. But it's true. It's stupid crap, but it's true. So, anyway, I'm going to get back on the road. It looks like it's going to rain any moment now. So, minimalism. That's where it's at for me. If you're interested in buying a shitty jacket that I got 3 years ago that looks like I'm an alien when I wear it, $50 and it's yours. I'll send you a picture. Anyway, I just want to say a super thank you to Moscow Moto for sending me this navigator pouch for my cell phone. Again, not a sponsored video. Huge supporter of them. And I'm super happy that they are supporting me in this channel. It means a lot. If, for whatever crazy reason, you happen to enjoy this video, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. Maybe even click that like button. It does something. I don't know. They say it's good for the algorithm. I'm not sure what the algorithm is, but let's be good to it. I'll catch you on the next one.